Employers use behavioral interviews to evaluate your personality and past experience. They use them to get a sense of how you might perform in the future. So, how do you answer their questions in a way that gives them the confidence that you're the best candidate for the job? One of the best ways to do this is to answer with examples or stories showing you in a situation that they're asking about. The University of Alberta's Career Centre recommends using the STARS format to structure your responses. STAR stands for situation, task, action, results, and self-assessment. Before answering a question where you can think of using an example, think about how you can fit that example into the STARS framework. Let's go through an example question. You're interviewing for a summer internship program at an engineering firm, and you want to show your problem-solving skills in a workplace setting. You get asked about a difficulty that you encountered as an executive at a STEM club at your university. Your first sentence gives the audience background context about the situation you're describing. For example, you could say, "We were planning a forum and banquet for engineering clubs across Canada to present their developing drone technology, and I was in charge of reaching out for sponsorships." Next, outline the specific challenge you faced. For example, you could say, "We had a sponsor that backed out at the last minute, leaving us short $5,000. Now it's time to talk about how you address the situation in one sentence, about what you did and how. For example, you could say, "I put together a funding proposal that was used to cold call over 30 engineering firms across Canada within 2 weeks." Then, outline the positive results of your actions. For example, you could say, "As a result of this initiative, we were able to raise $10,000 more than our initial fundraising goal." Finally, you'll want to reflect on what you learned from the situation to demonstrate to the employer that you're self-aware and willing to improve. While you can use the STARS format for almost every interview question that allows you to provide a real-life example, there are a few questions that are so commonly asked, but they're worth specially preparing for. The first one asks why you're interested in working for their company. For this question, you'll want to base your answer on your research of the employer. Be specific about why they, and not any other similar company, are the perfect place for you. You may also want to relate working for them to your long-term career goals. The second question asks you to tell the interviewer about yourself. When an interviewer asks this, they're usually asking for a 2 to 3 minute overview of your qualifications and career aspirations. You should focus on highlighting the aspects about your life that are relevant to the position you're applying for. That means coursework, projects, interviews, research, and volunteer work. The third question asks what your weaknesses are. Now, this is a tough one. The key to acing this question is being honest and showing the interviewer how you've improved. Avoid choosing a weakness that could negatively impact your job performance. And remember to turn the negative into a positive by showing the interviewer how you're overcoming this challenge. Also, don't try to disguise a positive trait as a negative weakness by saying something like, "I work too hard." Interviewers can see right through that. Another question type that you should be ready for are hypothetical questions. These are questions like, how would you approach working with a difficult coworker on a task? Or what would you do if you disagreed with the way a manager wanted you to handle a problem? And how would you approach a task that you've never done before? For these types of questions, you have two options. If you've already been in a situation like that and handled it well, you can use the STARS format. Otherwise, just think about what skills are important in that situation and walk the interviewer through specific steps that you'd take, as well as your thought process for each action. The interviewers are usually more interested in how you approach the problem than what you actually do in the end.